Before we begin, let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like you were being watched, not by a person, but by an energy? Like something was tracking you through the eyes of others, draining you, twisting your image, rewriting your story without your permission. Have you ever walked into a room and felt the temperature drop? Not physically, but spiritually. Have you ever sensed that the moment your light turned on, the shadows around you began to hiss? If you're watching this, it's not by chance. You were meant to hear these words, because what you're experiencing, the anxiety, the isolation, the constant self-questioning, is not a coincidence. It's the cost of being awake in a world that feeds on illusion. You are not cursed. You are not broken. You are being forged. This is spiritual warfare, and your soul signed up to be on the front lines. You didn't imagine the looks. You didn't make up the smear campaigns or the coldness from people who used to call you friend. You didn't hallucinate the flying monkeys and energy vampires that orbit narcissistic abusers. What you're feeling, the racing heart, the inability to sleep, the urge to isolate, the deep exhaustion that no amount of rest seems to cure. These are not personal defects. These are the marks of spiritual battle. These are symptoms of persecution. You feel so much because you were born to feel. You see so clearly because your spirit chose to see. And that sensitivity, it was never meant to be a curse. It was always a calling. You're not just empathic. You're a Heyoka, a sacred disruptor, a mirror to the world's unresolved shadow. You break illusions just by walking into a room. And the reason your journey has been so heavy is because your light has been working overtime to break chains. Not just for you, but for your lineage, for your community, for this earth. So stay with me, because today we're not just naming the darkness, we're illuminating the path out of it through teachings from ancient mystics, scripture, ancestral wisdom, and cosmic truth. We'll show you that this pain has always been known, and that this isn't the end. This is your return, your remembrance. You are not alone. You are not weak. You are awakening. Take a deep breath and let your soul remember. This is your initiation. You are being prepared for something greater. You've probably noticed the shift. People you thought were friends now turn away. Strangers glare at you like they know something you don't. The room gets tense when you walk in. The air gets heavier, denser, as if your presence itself is disrupting a silent agreement everyone else has made to stay asleep. You feel like you're always being watched, online, in public, sometimes even in your own home. Not watched with love, but with suspicion, with resentment, like you carry a secret they don't want to remember. You don't rest, not truly. Your body collapses, but your spirit remains alert, scanning, defending, interpreting, absorbing. Your soul, overextended and underprotected, is running on spiritual fumes. Your mind races. You think through every word you said, every move you made. You become your own detective and jury, interrogating your innocence in rooms where you were already judged guilty. You've learned to stay small, to speak softly, to shrink your energy and smooth your edges. You anticipate danger before it arrives. You hide your joy because even happiness can make you a target. And it doesn't stop with emotional pain. This chronic hypervigilance creates energetic damage. Your aura, once soft, radiant, flowing, becomes rigid, spiked, defensive. Your energy field stiffens like a wall, trying to protect you from the onslaught of projections and invisible attacks. But the longer you live in that defensive state, the more your energy stagnates. Instead of flowing like a stream, it becomes like frozen glass. Instead of radiating warmth, it builds a field of tension and exhaustion. This stagnation can show up physically: chronic fatigue, muscle tension, illness with no explanation. Spiritually, you may feel cut off from your guides, numb to joy, unable to manifest or meditate. You begin to mistake survival for living. You forget how to feel safe in your own energy. You are not crazy. You are not imagining things. You are under spiritual siege. This is what happens when a Heyoka Empath, or any powerful intuitive, becomes a threat to the illusion. When your light gets stronger, the shadows notice. And when your aura becomes a beacon for truth, darkness tries to dim it. But you must remember, the fact that they fear your light is the ultimate evidence of its power. I remember when it first happened to me. People I trusted began to whisper. Their smiles stopped reaching their eyes. Their laughter became tighter, their compliments more forced. I'd catch glances from across the room, quick, evaluating stares that pretended not to notice me, but carried weight like bricks. I could feel my name in their mouths even when I wasn't there. I could feel the story being rewritten around me, a version of me they'd invented, one that fit their discomfort better than the truth ever could. There was a day I walked into a space that used to feel like home, and all I felt was dread. The air was electric, thick with hidden judgments, with side glances and cold indifference. It was as if I had been put on trial in my absence, and now I had entered the sentencing room. I stood there, surrounded by people who used to laugh with me, and realized I was now the outsider, not because I had changed, but because I had stayed true. And in that moment, I questioned everything: my intentions, my kindness, my sanity. I began to think, maybe I really am the problem. Maybe I do make people uncomfortable. Maybe I'm too intense, too much, too open. Until I saw it clearly. This wasn't about me. It was about what I represented. I was truth. I was light. I was reflection. And there are some personalities, especially those infected with narcissism or envy, who cannot stand to be reflected. They feed on energy. They feed on attention. And when they recognize someone who holds power they cannot control, they do everything they can to discredit, diminish, and devour that light. Some of them, let's call them what they are, psychic vampires. They don't just drain you once and move on. They get addicted to your essence. They orbit you. They poke, prod, provoke. They want you to react so they can feed off the aftermath. There was one person in particular. He came into my life with flattery and fascination. He mirrored me perfectly, made me feel seen, until he realized he couldn't outshine me. And then, the mask dropped. He didn't just try to discredit me, he tried to consume me. He would provoke me subtly in public, then play the victim when I snapped. He would twist every word I said, create fake narratives, plant seeds of doubt in others' minds. He smiled while slandering, and people believed him because he looked so calm, so composed, while I was unraveling from the inside out. And when I finally called it what it was, when I named the betrayal, he acted shocked. "I'm worried about you," he said. "You seem unstable." The classic narcissist smear tactic. But here's what I learned. If you are surrounded by people who thrive when you are small and who panic when you reclaim your voice, they are not your tribe. If this story sounds familiar, if your truth has become too loud for the comfort of liars, take heart. It means your aura is disrupting the program. It means your field is activating. It means your presence alone is a form of spiritual revolution. The illusion can't stand in the presence of truth. And you, dear mystic, are the living proof of that truth. Do not dim for them. Let their reactions reveal who they truly are. Because when someone hates your healing, fears your glow, or tries to ruin your reputation to protect their lie, you can be sure it was never about who you are. It was always about what they refused to face within themselves. When your vibration rises, your very presence begins to crack the masks others wear. You don't have to say a word. Your energy speaks. Your field begins to vibrate with truth. And truth is deeply uncomfortable to those who have built their lives on illusion, especially for the Heyoka Empath, the sacred mirror of the soul. Your very existence reflects what others are desperate to hide. So they retaliate, they project, they attack, not because of who you are, but because of what you reveal. You hold up the mirror they've avoided all their lives, and in that mirror, they see themselves unfiltered, their shame, their shadow, their unprocessed guilt. Your awakening sets off alarms in the matrix. The simulation is designed to suppress divine consciousness, and when you activate, you become a glitch they can't ignore. And suddenly, you begin to attract stalkers, flying monkeys, energy vampires, smear campaigns, spiritual attacks, and strange patterns of surveillance. This is not coincidence. This is recognition. Your light is noticed. Your codes are active. Your mission has begun. You're not imagining the hostility. You're not overreacting to the coldness. You're triggering dormant energy in others, and they either awaken or attack. Every religion has warned us about this path. In Christianity, Jesus told his disciples, "You will be hated for my name's sake." He didn't just mean verbal attacks. He meant exile, rejection, character assassination. In Buddhism, Mara, the embodiment of illusion, came to tempt and destroy Siddhartha the moment he neared enlightenment. In Islam, the Prophet Muhammad was ridiculed, hunted, and exiled by those whose power was threatened by his message. In the Vedas, the Devas, divine beings of light, are in constant struggle with the Asuras, beings of shadow, illusion, and ego. In Jewish mysticism, the Kabbalists speak of the klipot, shells of darkness that cling to the light, trying to block its transmission. Even in ancient African spiritual systems, the light bearers, the medicine people, the seers, were often targeted by those who feared what they could see. Their visions threatened the established order. You're walking the same path. You are carrying that same light. But there is a cost. Over time, this kind of energetic persecution doesn't just hurt your feelings. It fractures your being. CPTSD isn't only a mental diagnosis. For the mystic, the empath, the energetic healer, it is soul fragmentation. It is spiritual scattering. It is the slow disconnection from your essence as you try to survive in a reality that feels more like a minefield than a life. You walk around with fog behind your eyes. You disassociate. You forget how to fully occupy your body. You can feel love in the room and still flinch, because love has been used against you before. You anticipate betrayal even from kind faces, because you've learned that smiles can hide knives. Your nervous system becomes a battlefield. Your breath becomes shallow. Your heart rate remains high. You can't relax, because to relax is to lower your shield, and to lower your shield has meant, in the past, getting pierced. Your aura, your sacred electromagnetic field, begins to stiffen. Like armor you never asked to wear, it grows heavy. Instead of expanding with love, it contracts with survival. Instead of glowing, it flashes emergency red. You try to dim your light just to keep the peace. You shrink. You smile politely. You silence your gifts. You become less of yourself in order to be more acceptable. But instead of making things better, it cuts off your own flow. The light you came here to carry begins to suffocate inside your bones. You feel disconnected from source, from your intuition, from your joy. You stop creating, you stop laughing, you stop dreaming. But here is what I want you to remember. You were never meant to shrink. You were never meant to contort yourself to fit into spaces built on lies. You were born to glow, to disrupt, to reflect. Your suffering does not mean you failed. It means you were activated. You are the living temple, and every shadow that tried to desecrate you only proved the power of what you carry. So what do you do when your light becomes the target? You come back to yourself. You breathe long and deep, not just into your lungs, but into your soul. You close your eyes, and you remember who you were before the world told you to forget. You pray, in your own language, with your own rhythm, whether it's through words or silence or movement. Your spirit knows how to return home. You call on your ancestors. You summon the strength of those who came before you, the ones who survived persecution, silence, exile, and betrayal. The ones who carried medicine in secret, the ones who burned but never bowed. You wrap yourself in divine light, not just as protection, but as remembrance, because you, dear mystic, are made of that light. You are not just a channel, you are the flame. And you remember this sacred truth. Your soul has walked this road before. You are not new to this pain. You have been the oracle, the seer, the wild healer in lifetimes past. You have spoken truth in temples and been exiled for it. You have healed kings and been hunted by them. You have walked through fire, lifetimes over. So now you awaken again. In ancient African traditions, the wounded healer is not cast out. They are crowned. Their pain becomes their portal. Their scars become their sigils. In Sufi mysticism, the one who dances in agony still sings the name of the beloved. Rumi said, "The wound is the place where the light enters you." And he was right. Your wound is not your weakness. It is the gateway to your wisdom. In Taoism, the master doesn't resist the river. They become the river. They surrender to the flow, not because they are passive, but because they understand that force invites more resistance. In indigenous teachings across the world, from the Americas to Oceania to the Arctic, the empath is often the medicine carrier, the one who feels deeply so others can remember how to feel at all, the one who cries for the people, the one whose pain becomes prayer. You cleanse yourself, spiritually, emotionally, Energetically, you draw sacred baths with salt and herbs. You anoint your body like the temple it is. You light sacred smoke, copal, palo santo, frankincense, sage, and you let it cleanse not only your space, but your timeline. You speak affirmations into your mirror, not fluffy mantras, but soul declarations. I return to myself. I reclaim my energy. I am sovereign in every dimension. You learn to notice what drains you and what restores you. You stop confusing guilt with compassion. You recognize that being kind does not mean being consumed. You disconnect from the ones who betray you with a smile. You delete numbers. You block accounts. You cleanse your social field the way a priestess cleanses her altar, deliberately, unapologetically, reverently. Because not every battle is yours to fight with words. Some battles are won in silence. Some spells are broken just by walking away. Sometimes your very presence is the war. Sometimes your peace is the revolution. Sometimes your silence is the spell breaker. And in all of this, you remember, you were built for this. You were born with armor in your soul. Your sensitivity is not a flaw. It is precision. Your empathy is not a burden. It is a sacred map. Your intuition is not weakness. It is divine technology, refined through lifetimes. You are not the wound. You are the healer. You are the mirror. You are not alone. You are not broken. You are not here by accident. You are a sacred disruptor in a world that rewards falsehood. You are the Heyoka, the lightning rod, the divine clown, the mirror that cannot be distorted, the one who speaks backwards to reveal what others try to hide. Let them talk. Let them twist. Let them stare. Because every time they try to dim your light, it only proves how much they fear your fire. Every lie told about you, every whisper behind your back, every attack on your character is evidence of your power. They never feared you because you were wrong. They feared you because you were right. Because your light made the shadows scatter. Because your voice cracked the illusion they needed to survive. You are not here to make people comfortable. You are here to wake them up. And if this message reached your soul, if your spirit is trembling right now, if your chest is tight, if your eyes are burning, it's because you remember. You came here for this. You chose this path before your birth. You carry the lineage of mystics, prophets, rebels, healers, and star seeds. You are the continuation of a divine uprising. So stay the course, mystics. Shine even when it's hard. Heal even when it's messy. Forgive yourself for the times you dimmed your flame to make others feel safe. Reclaim your brilliance. Let your light blaze. If this message resonated with you, I invite you to stay connected. Like this video to let the algorithm know our voices matter. Subscribe to Mystical Illumination so you never miss another activation. Drop a comment below and let us know you're here. Your voice is sacred. And if you feel called to go deeper, if you want access to exclusive content, sacred transmissions, spiritual survival guides, and behind-the-scenes offerings, join the community on patreon.com/mysticalillumination. You don't have to walk this path alone. Not anymore. This is Mystical Illumination. And together, we rise. Stay lit.